Hello everybody, this is Havoc and welcome to another Ancient Empires battle. Today I am fighting against Petilius. He is one of the developers of the Ancient Empires mod, and today we're playing a pretty interesting setup. None of us, or not that I'm aware of, I could be very wrong, but these two factions haven't really been showcased at all, and so it was a good battle for us to showcase some more of the Eastern, I guess Egyptian, kind of Middle Eastern Arabian factions, essentially. So today we have the Saba, played by Petilius. It's pretty sweet looking dudes. And then I am playing as the Kingdom of Kush. Now the Kingdom of Kush is a really sweet faction. I like them a lot. I've just never decided to play as them for whatever reason. So we're going to go through our unit comps as usual, and then we will duke it out. Alright, so right here in front and center, I have some Kushite militia. These guys are just some regular tier 1 spear infantry with cowhide shields, leather shields. These guys are going to be they're not going to be too bad, I really don't think. They're just kind of meant to be as my front line to really take the brunt. If they rout, then they rout. I have plenty of reinforcements behind me. Over here on my left side, this is where the real battle comes in. So these Kushite Royal Guard, these dudes are really, really cool. They're essentially encased in pure bronze everywhere. I mean, their entire armor is made out of bronze. Their axes are made out of bronze. Their shields are made out of bronze. They just look really, really cool. I liked showing them off because they just look really cool. Now, while the shields aren't necessarily adorned, I don't really know that much about the Kushite culture, but it just looks really, really nice and polished. Over here on my right flank, I have some Kushite swordsmen. These guys are not going to be very heavily armored at all, but they are going to be some good melee infantry. Again, that kind of typical zebra cowhide zebra hide type of shields. They look really cool. I really, really like them. Now these guys are going to really... Oh, no, these are just the Kushite bowmen. Never mind. The guys behind them are going to be really cool. I just really like these units. They just look really, really good. Very well done. I mean, jewelry hanging from their ears. The kind of... I don't know, those cornrows. But anyway, so I have 4 units of Kushite bowmen. These are just, again, these are just light bowmen, nothing too super fancy, except for the fact that Kushite bowmen, they have a poison attack, which gives a pretty good debuff across a bunch of stats. Now these guys behind them, these are what I want to focus on. These Kushite nobles are really unique in that not only do they have some pretty sweet looking bows like their bowman counterpart, they do have that poison attack, but they are also initially tier 3 melee infantry. So not only will they hold up in terms of a ranged unit, they have a pretty decent range. You will also be able to use them in a melee battle. Alright guys, finishing up my scenario, I have 3 units of Kushite Noble Cav. These are melee cavalry. I also really enjoy how these guys look. Just the different kinds of horse armor that's on them. They're not super heavily armored at all, but just that really the saddles look really cool. The harnesses, they all just look really legit. Not to mention these guys had a little bit of Hellenistic looking stuff going on, but that's all well and good. Now, over here, I have Kushite Royal Cav, some more. I decided to put a lot of these guys in. Now, there's only 2 of them. But again, it's that idea that all bronze looking troops, they just look really sweet. Not to mention, I like the little flags hanging off. It'd be cool if the wind animation really showed them off really well. We'll have to take a closer look. And then last but not least, some more Kushite Royal Cav for my general's unit. Now, that all being said, there are some interesting unique units about the Saba. There's one I'm really going to focus on, and that'll be the last set, because it's a really cool thing that Petilius especially wanted me to show off and talk a little bit about. So on his front line, he has quite a few units of city-state spearmen. They're looking very nice. All those multiple shields, they look really, really cool. I'm really enjoying how this mod looks. So he's got, what, quite a few spearmen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's got 5 units of city-state spearmen over here. His general unit, these royal escorts, they are going to be on the front line as well, which was an interesting move, which we'll see how well he does with that, putting his royal escort right there on the line. And then he has some Arab nobles. Now what's really cool about a lot of units in the Ancient Empires mod is that a lot of them have the capability to be hidden in very, very little to no vegetation. So these Arab nobles, as you can see, sure, a few trees would maybe hold them, but the fact that their whole unit is hidden is really, really cool. So he has a whole bunch of Arab nobles. Excuse me, guys. Over here on his right flank, he has 2 units of Arab noble horse. And these Arab noble horse are going to look pretty cool. I just love the shields and the colors. Just the colors are so vibrant. I'm really enjoying how they look. And then he has a couple of units. Oh, hey, looky there. I didn't notice this guy. Little Arab Thorakitai. We've seen the Thorakitais in several of the cultures that we have been featuring. So that's good. He has a couple of units of Arab noble horse in reserve, which is a very smart move. You never want to engage all of your troops at once, that's for darn sure. Now another unit of Arab Thorakitai, I don't know if they just popped up. I don't remember seeing them initially, so maybe it finally rendered or something. Now these units, these are what I wanted to focus on, because a couple of us, he's about to jump off of his saddle. A couple of us have played as these guys before, with camel mounted troops, and been wondering why exactly does a light spear infantry with that light spear sigil icon, why are they horses? Why do they have camels essentially? So why are they not listed as cav? And so Petilius and I were talking about it, and he says, well, literally, dude, these are spearmen who mount onto camels, and just essentially they're really good for using them to get around the battlefield quickly, dismounting, setting up formation. That doesn't work out, they mount back up, they can move across the battlefield. So literally, in every literal sense of the word, they are camel mounted troops. So these guys, they're not going to be that great in terms of a charge rating or anything. They're camels, so their speed's really slow, but they're literally meant to get on, zip across the battlefield, and set up to be able to flank, to set up some ambushes, things of that sort. So let's go ahead and start the battle. And as you can see, we're already meeting to counter that threat. I can't see them at the moment. Yeah, you see and of course this is a pretty thick brush. This was a really good map for laying some good ambushes. I decided to really go on the offensive with this one. I kind of get a little impatient. And plus, I kind of knew that like my Arab nobles would do really good. Where are these guys? So let's take a pause real quick, or at least let's see. There's my Kushite bowmen. There's my Kushite nobles. Come on, pin it. Let's see. Why can I not select my nobles? Here we go. So they have a poison attack. Now the poison arrow. The base reload time is a little more, but for 10 seconds they get -2 morale, -10% melee offense, -10% melee defense, and -20% speed. Oh man, I do apologize, guys. That's bad. So the poison arrows are going to be really useful, in, especially if you spread it out. If you don't focus all on one troop, you can really do a lot of widespread damage across the board. So we're moving up. I see that he hopefully only has 2 units of noble horse, and it appears that my royal cav could take on those noble horse. I'm going to move my general through these woods here. As you can see, I can do a nice little crescent moon and get that going, but do a little exploring. See, here's what I mean. They dismount, they set up, and then their whole nice big 240 unit block of spearmen. And that's another thing to notice, is that most other cav, 150 is the max you're going to get on like a large unit setting. For these camel mounted troops, it's 240, so they are literally meant to be as mounted troops that dismount and then go from there. So I got close enough to him where he can't really do much, and I'm going to pelt him with some of my missiles. Now again, I can't see this guy. That's what's really cool about this hiding feature, is I can't see him until I'm almost on him. So I'm going to deal with this threat for just a little while. I'm not going to do much with these troops. The most I'm going to do is actually bring my Kushite nobles over, because I know my flanks are secure because I at least have these guys. These guys are close enough to see any threat on the other side. So I'm going to bring these guys around, have them fire on the spearmen. Again, using that poison attack will really help. Run, lads. Oh, they're kicking up grass. That's cute. How you boys doing over here? There's been a few casualties. Ambushes have been laid, and now he almost wins this one. He tries to charge, but again, camels, they're just too slow. So a really good job of being able to get out of there. Pew pew, pew pew. Hoa! Make sure I'm not missing anything else on the battlefield. We're moving our troops around. I am bringing up my troops now. Brought up the front line so they could start attacking his troops, and as you can see, there's that poison arrow debuff, and I'm focusing one on each one of those troops. That allows me to really have a army-wide morale debuff, essentially, which is really, really helpful. So those guys are just going to pelt on them, bringing in our Kushite nobles, taking those out, those camel-mounted troops. I'm laying my ambush up here pretty well. I don't think obviously he can't see anything, but he's not moving these troops, so I thought I'd see if I couldn't get an ambush off and running. My missile cav are running out. As you can see, these guys are already routing. The morale is at -2. Now, had I stuck with it, I probably should have been able to rout him pretty well. Like, completely rout him, because that's another thing, is they don't really rout right off the bat, and it's not always for good. They will come back, much like Warhammer, but not nearly as bad as Warhammer. So, oh, they have a green trail. That's really cool. I didn't notice that when I was playing. So we're moving our troops up. We're getting hit ourselves with some missile suppression. And his Arab nobles have the same effect as our nobles do. They can fire, and they're also good for melee. And here we go. He's not even going to try. I don't think he was really paying attention until the last second. Oh, there we go. That's a nice clash. Lots of death. Lots of death. So there we go. We caught him with our general's unit. Hopefully we'll be able to take those guys out relatively quick. I'm getting hounded with this, so I'm trying to figure out the best way to really take these guys on. I am just going to go a full frontal assault, and we're going to move our cab back. I see that his spearmen can't really do much against us. Why is the music stopped? That's what I want to know. I'm going to have to put some in. So he's going to get a charge off on my Kushite nobles. Pew 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 pew. So I'm going to meet them in battle. And then, oh, kind of wrecks us just a little bit. That was a really good charge on Petilius' part. However, we are able to outmaneuver his spearmen, and I can get in some good support. We're going to bring our Kushite bowmen to start laying a couple of volleys on them. Over here, this is going to be a long, bloody struggle, so I'm not really going to focus too much on it. But I am going to bring my unit of Kushite Royal Guard around. We're going to focus on these city-state spearmen. And in this head-to-head, we're going to do some pretty good, some pretty solid back and forth. That's cool. Look at all those arrows. Oh, that's cool. Alright, so we were able to start almost completely routing one of his Arab noble horse. We are going to get hit. Those Kushite nobles who were in that initial charge, they did get pounded on pretty stinking hard. So I'm going to see how well they do. Now, our light Kushite bowmen, they're going to go after those Arab nobles, since I don't want to hit my own troops with poison arrows. As you can see, I already am. But just being able to take out those Arab nobles without having to do much damage to ourselves was really, really good. Now, I ran his unit off. He's still routing. And I see he has left his general wide open. Absolutely wide open. So what's best in this situation? Well, a hammer and anvil charge. And the best part is he's not even going to see it until it's almost too late. Here we go. Here we go. Slamming into the back of the general's unit. You can see they just get shoved forward. Absolutely devastating charge. As you can see, he also routed. He routed a unit of our Kushite militia with his city-state spearmen. And he's going to try and close the gap with these Arab nobles to try and see if he can't save his general. But it does not work. I'm able to squeeze my troops out of there, which is a really, really convenient thing. I was able to get out. And his general, while not completely routed, is routing, and that is going to serve as a morale debuff for all of his troops. Now, he is bringing his camel-mounted troops in to fight my Kushite noble cav and my Kushite nobles. I honestly probably should have pulled them out sooner, but I was more focused on making sure his general routes, because that will give him morale debuff, and as you can see, those camel-mounted troops are starting to rout already. He's got one unit that hasn't routed yet on that side, and over here, again, we're duking it out hard. Trying to outmaneuver his cav. I'm trying to get some charges off that I don't know if you'll see in this battle, at least because, again, I'm not really focusing on this because nothing really exciting happens, to be real honest. Alright, so we've routed his general. His general's gone. His Arab or city-state spearmen, sorry, they have all decided to rout as well. We're able to start pounding and starting to specialize on some troops to really focus on routing them all. We have routed the last of his routing the last of his camel-mounted troops. And now it's just kind of a free-for-all, essentially. We are starting to really gain the upper hand with this battle. His city-state spearmen, they are just not in it right now. Losing that general really, really hurts them. We finally almost rout a unit of Arab horse over here on the left flank. And we have secured that entire right flank. We now need to regroup and let the melee army do its thing. Get some hammer and anvil with our Kushite spearmen. Rout the rest of those city-state spearmen. Yeah, we did get routed over here, Kushite noble cav. So we're gonna set up. We are fresh. Aside from my horsemen, they are a little bit winded. But again, in this game, morale is very much dependent on the fatigue of your troops. So the more fatigued they are, the more easily they will rout. They will rout very easily. Getting these guys set up. They're tired, so we're letting them rest for just a minute. And we are going to go after the last of his noble horse here on the right flank so that we can ensure that the entire right flank is ours. There we go. There we go. As you can see, he's just setting up his Arab nobles over there. We're going to get a good charge off of here. I'm glad I caught this because I remember this at the last second. There we go. So while not the most amazing charge, again, these guys are very tired. They're shaken. You know, their general has routed. So hopefully they will rout. There they go. And pretty much his whole entire unit is wavering. His whole entire army is just about gone. Again, letting your troops rest is the best thing you can do, especially when you don't have to attack them. That's going to be the best way to win any battle in Ancient Empire. So we did rout his unit of cav, so I now have complete cav control. I now have complete superiority. It's just a matter of time before we hammer an anvil and do some sneak attacks to really get them going. So he's just going to try and reposition his troops while he can. Again, all of them are wavering. Let's just do this. I do love the scale of Ancient Empires battles. They are absolutely amazing. Let's move our Royal Guard up. They're going to be the best units to take on these guys. Do a little more repositioning. We finally have secured the left flank completely, so we're going to move our troops around to try and swarm over the 4 units that he has left. Again, continuing to use poison to get that morale debuff. His morale is minus 17, minus 12, minus 14, minus 11. These poor guys. I feel bad for them, but at the same time, not really. Arab nobles. They're going to do pretty well against my Kushite noble cav, but again, their morale is so low, it's going to be a really, really hard battle for them. Minus 16 morale. That's intense. Even when you're disciplined, which I believe these guys are, yeah. It means they won't rout quite as, but they still will. And so I'm bringing in my archers. I thought I'd bring my bowmen in just for kicks and giggles. You know, I was kind of putting the nail in the coffin. We are surrounding him. We have our Royal Guard coming in around. As you just saw, I'm bringing my cav around to swarm him. See those bowmen with their clubs. That's amazing. Yeah, those clubs aren't going to do a whole lot of good. Oh, there we go. Everyone has routed. It's the end of the battle and a decisive victory. Alright, so I didn't even mention how many troops were in this battle. We are just shy of 9,000 troops. That's what another thing that I love about the Ancient Empires battles is they're so huge. We're 220 stacks and we're sitting at almost 9,000 troops. Absolutely incredible. So we did pretty good. We only lost 856 total. I don't know that we actually had an entire unit rout. I'm not really sure. We look at Noble Cav 201, these Kushite Noble Cav 535, my General 216, these Royal Guard, these Kushite Militias 345. Did pretty stinking well. So this was a very nice battle. And again, thank you, Petilius, for fighting it with me. I'm looking forward to many more battles. And especially for the campaign. I am very excited for the campaign. And of course, we have a release date for that. If you'll go and watch the video on it. Wink, wink. And so yeah, if you enjoyed this battle, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Be on the lookout for more Ancient Empires gameplay. This is Havoc, and I'm out of here. Peace!